Hi everyone. So we were dealing with the previous year questions that were asked from literary theory, and we were discussing the questions that was asked between December 2018 and December 2022 NTA UGC NET English examination. And in this video, we will be dealing with the questions that were asked from postmodernism. So we have already discussed few questions that were asked about postmodernism, and I think we have dealt with almost 8 questions, and now let's look at the remaining questions that were asked from the theory called postmodernism. And in the previous videos, I have already mentioned what postmodernism is, what are the important characteristics and the important features of postmodernism. So, as I said earlier, postmodernism it's actually a philosophical and literary cultural movement that emerged in the mid 20th century related to the Second World War, and it can be characterized by many features like skepticism towards grand narratives, a rejection of the absolute truths, focus on fragmentation, then multiplicity of meaning. So you can find different features or different characteristics of postmodernism. And even if we speak about postmodernism, I said from a net point of view, the most important writers who comes under postmodernism are Michel Foucault and FREDRIC Jameson, because almost every year you can find one or other question that was asked from Michel Foucault. So Foucault or Jameson, both of them are really important from a literary point of view and also from the net point of view. And also speaking about postmodernism, we know that postmodernism, they incorporate different literary techniques like pastiche, parody, schizophrenia, hyperreality, etc. So these concepts that comes under postmodernism, that's also very important. So now let's look at the remaining questions that were asked from postmodernism. In December 2020 and June 2021, there was this question: which two of the following concepts are deployed in the work of FREDRIC Jameson? Which two of the following concepts are deployed in the work of FREDRIC Jameson? Which two of the following concepts are deployed in the work of FREDRIC Jameson? The options given here are pastiche, hyperreal, schizophrenia and habitus. Pastiche, hyperreal, schizophrenia and habitus. So, as I said earlier, while you study literary theory, you have to look at the important theories that comes under that particular theory. Then you have to look at the major works that are written by them, and then you have to go for the important concepts or terms popularized by this writer. So, if you know the concepts associated with FREDRIC Jameson, you can easily answer this question. So, two among the following concepts are deployed in the works of FREDRIC Jameson. So, before moving to the answer, let's look about FREDRIC Jameson. So we have discussed about few other questions that has been asked from FREDRIC Jameson. So he's an American literary critic, a philosopher, a Marxist political theorist. He is best known for his analysis of contemporary cultural trends, particularly his analysis of postmodernity and capitalism. So FREDRIC Jameson, his major area of concern or his major area of attention was postmodernity and capitalism, and he is also known for the analysis of contemporary cultural trends in literature and in media. For him, postmodernism is the result of a shift in economic conditions when in turn shape the cultural cognitive, and he uses the concepts of pastiche and schizophrenia in his essay on postmodernity. So the two concepts that he uses in the essay on postmodernity is pastiche and schizophrenia. And now let's look how he has used these concepts. I want here to sketch, these are the exact lines, or these are the extracts taken from postmodernity. I want here to sketch a few of the ways in which the new postmodernism expresses the inner truth of that newly emergent social order of late capitalism, but will halt to limit the description of only two of its significant features, which I will call pastiche and schizophrenia. So this is what FREDRIC Jameson has said. Here he wanted to sketch few of the ways in which postmodernism expresses the inner truth of late capitalism. So how postmodernism portrays or depicts or expresses late capitalism, and he limits that to two significant features, that is schizophrenia and pastiche. They will give us a chance to sense the specificity of the postmodernist experience of space and time respectively. That is, pastiche will give the chance to sense the specificity of postmodern experience of space, while schizophrenia shows the importance of time. Okay, so this is what he says. Then, schizophrenic experience is an experience of isolated, disconnected, discontinuous material signifiers which fail to link up into a coherent sequence. The schizophrenic thus does not know personal identity in our sense, since our feeling of identity depends on our sense of the persistence of I and me over the time. So here you can find that FREDRIC Jameson, he is explaining the concept of schizophrenia and how it is used to express, or how postmodernism uses schizophrenia to express the concepts of the late capitalism. So schizophrenic experience is an experience of isolated, disconnected, discontinuous signifiers which fail to link up into a coherent sequence. This schizophrenic thus does not know personal identity in our sense, since our feeling of identity depends on our sense of the persistence of the I and the me over time. So now let's go back to the question. Which two of the following concepts are deployed in the works of FREDRIC Jameson? So let's look at the options once again. Pastiche, hyperreal, schizophrenia and habitus. So we know pastiche, FREDRIC Jameson, he extensively explores the concept of pastiche, which, what do you mean by pastiche? It actually refers to the imitation of a parody of various styles. Imitation of parody. So parody itself is an imitation. So we can say pastiche is the imitation or parody of various styles. Imitation or parody of various styles. It could be of various styles. It could be of various genres or various elements, without a clear sense of originality. For example, if you speak about parody, you know where it has been taken from. Okay, but in the case of pastiche, it's not always clear. So this originality or the critical engagement is expressed without a clear sense in a pastiche. So FREDRIC Jameson, he argues that in a postmodern culture, pastiche, it replaces the traditional forms of artistic expression. Okay, it replaces the traditional form of artistic expression and it becomes a dominant mode of cultural production. So this is what he says about pastiche. So pastiche is one right answer. Then the second one is hyperreal, is also a concept of postmodernism, but more than FREDRIC Jameson, it was Baudrillard who brought this concept. Then we have schizophrenia. So the correct answer is A and C. A and C comes as option B. So the correct answer here is option B. Okay, so I hope that is clear. The two concepts developed or popularized or brought by FREDRIC Jameson in his work is pastiche and schizophrenia. Now let's look at another question that was asked in December 2020, June 2021 cycles merged examination. Which of the following narrative cycles is referred to in Michel Foucault's What is an Author? Which of the following narrative cycles is referred to in Michel Foucault's What is an Author? The Canterbury Tales, the Decameron, the 1001 Nights and Tutti, Nama. So, as I said earlier, FREDRIC Jameson and Michel Foucault, these two writers, you cannot study, you cannot go for a net exam without being thorough with these writers. It's FREDRIC Jameson and Michel Foucault. Which of the following narrative cycles is referred to in Michel Foucault's What is an Author? So the given options are the Canterbury Tales, the Decameron, the 1001 Nights and Tutti, Nama. So now, before moving to the answer, let's look what is an author and who is Michel Foucault. So what is an author? It is actually a lecture on literary theory given by Michel Foucault on 22nd February 1969, and we know about Michel Foucault. He's a French philosopher, sociologist and a historian. So here you can find the what is an author. The work considers the relationship between. So as I said in the introduction, postmodernism, it actually questions the relationship between it actually questions the authority or what can we say, the credibility. It rejects the concept of, it has got high skepticism towards this grand narrative. So here, this work considers the relationship between author, text and reader. And in this work, Michel Foucault concludes that the author is a certain functional principle by which in our culture one limits, excludes and chooses for many. Foucault's lecture responds to Roland Barthes' essay, The Death of the Author. So, the author is therefore an ideological figure by which one marks the manner in which we fear the proliferation of meaning. So, that is what Foucault says as an explanation to an author, or who the author is. The author is an ideological figure by which one marks the manner in which we fear the proliferation of meaning. So let's go back to the question. Which of the following narrative cycles is referred to in Michel Foucault's What is an Author? Actually, the answer is a direct question if you have read this essay, because here he uses the narrative cycle of the 1001 Nights. But more than that, Foucault's essay, it actually primarily focuses on the concept of the author. So that is the primary focus of Foucault's essay, What is an Author? It actually focuses on the concept of the author and the role of the authorship. What does this author do in this particular text? So the role of the authorship within the intellectual and literary discourse. So he explains the relationship of the author with the text. He explains the role of the author in the intellectual and literary discourse. And then you can find Foucault, he explains or he explores how the notion of the author has evolved over time, how the author was treated far in the previous periods, how that treatment evolved evolved with generations and periods. So he explores how the notion of the author has evolved over time, because at the beginning the author was seen, or the author was revered as a person, or he was seen as an individual creator. Okay, he was seen as an individual creator with original ideas. He was seen as an individual creator with original ideas to complex function. Okay, to complex function within the network of discourse. So that was the stand given to author during the early times. But then you can find that Foucault, he examines the relationship between the text. Okay, so nowadays we cannot say that the author has got original content. Okay, there is a relationship between each text, the relationship between authors, the relationship between readers, and then he challenges the traditional understanding of authorship as the originator of meaning. So in the traditional times, we consider the author to be the creator of the meaning. What does the author imply? So that's the question that we got familiar in our childhood. So here he questions questions, he challenges the traditional idea of authorship as the originator of meaning, because according to Foucault, author is not an individual creator, but he is actually a construct. Okay, the author is a construct created and maintained by society. The author is a construct created and maintained by society, and the meaning should be derived from the interplay of the text. So the meaning is not something what the author intended, or the author's intention does not give a credibility to a single meaning, but the meaning should be derived from the interplay of text and readers rather than the authority of an author. Okay, I hope that's clear. So that is what he says in this essay, what is an author, and he uses the narrative cycle of the 1001 Nights to show an example. So here the 1001 Nights comes as option number C. So the correct answer is option C. So now let's move on to the next question. In December 2021 and June 2022 cycles merged examination, there was this question where two statements are given and you have to identify the correct statement. Statement 1, Hannah Arendt's defactualization is very close to the concept of post-truth. Hannah Arendt's defactualization is very close to the concept of post-truth. Statement 2, post-truth relies on absolute lies. Post-truth relies on absolute lies. So I will read the statement once again. Statement 1, Hannah Arendt's defactualization is very close to the concept of post-truth. And statement 2, post-truth relies on absolute lies. Okay, so before answering this, let's look at the concepts. So what do you mean by post-truth and what do you mean by defactualization? So here, post-truth is actually a term that refers to the 21st century widespread documentation of and concern about the disputes over public truth claims. So the term's academic development refers to the theories and research that explain the historically specific causes and the effects of the phenomena. And in her essay, Lying in Politics, 1972, Hannah Arendt describes what she terms defactualization. So, what is defactualization? The inability to discern fact from fiction. So, where you are not able to categorize, or you are not able to figure out what is a fact and what is fiction. So, a concept very close to what we now understand by post-truth. So, post-truth is actually a 21st century term, a 21st century widespread documentation of. So here, the post-truth politics, they are primarily known through public truth statements in specific media context, like commentary on major broadcasting networks, podcasts, YouTube videos, special media. It's a 21st century term. So it is especially studied in media and communication studies. Okay, so it's actually a phenomena with particular forms of truth telling, like international rumors, or you can say or what can we like international rumors or lies, conspiracy theories, fake news, etc., which gains the attention of the philosopher. So the essay's central theme, that is in Lying in Politics, you can find then or we can say defactualization actually paved the way to this postmodern concept called post-truth. So in the essay's central theme is the thoroughgoing political deception. Okay, the thoroughgoing political deception that was unveiled with the leaking of the Pentagon Papers. So there was an incident in which there was a leaking happened among the Pentagon Papers in 1971. So her main target, Hannah Arendt's main targets of criticism is the professional problem solvers. Okay, the professional problem solvers, because they are tasked with solving American foreign policy problems during the Vietnam War, and they comprise the group that authored the McNamara report. So we can say that defactualization and post-truth are almost related. Now let's go back to the question. Okay, so statement 1, Hannah Arendt's defactualization is very close to the concept of post-truth. So we have to say that the first statement is actually true, because Hannah Arendt's defactualization is actually very close to the concept of post-truth and is closer to the truth. Okay, because however, it is important to know that this is an interpretation. Okay, this statement, that is Hannah Arendt's defactualization is very close to the concept of post-truth. It's not a fact, but it is an interpretation which can be considered as right. Okay, which can be considered as right. So anyway, let's look the statement. So here, Hannah Arendt's defactualization is very close to the concept of post-truth. This statement, it actually suggests a similarity between Hannah Arendt's concept of defactualization and the contemporary concept of post-truth. Okay, Hannah Arendt's defactualization came in 1972 and post-truth is a 21st century. While Hannah Arendt did not explicitly use the term post-truth, her concept of defactualization, it refers to the erosion of objective facts. Okay, it refers to the deletion, or we can say it refers to the erosion of the objective facts and the manipulation of reality in a political sphere. So, at the same time, post-truth, on the other hand, it refers to a political climate where emotions and personal beliefs often supersede the objective facts. Okay, so that is what is called as post-truth. That is, post-truth, it refers to a political climate where emotions and personal beliefs supersede over objective facts. So, there are similarities between defactualization and post-truth. Okay, then if you look at the second statement, that is post-truth relies on absolute lies, we have to say that that is an incorrect statement, because post-truth, it involves a departure from objective facts. It focuses on objective emotions, it focuses on beliefs, and it focuses on emotions, but it does not necessarily rely on absolute facts. Instead, we can say that post-truth, it often employs tactics or techniques like cherry picking facts or distorting information, appealing to emotions, or appealing or shape the public opinion, etc., create alternative narratives, etc. But still, while falsehoods and these misinformations all can play an important role in the concept of post-truth politics, it is not solely reliant on lies. Okay, it is not solely reliant on lies or absolute lies. It's important to approach. Okay, so that is what he says. So the statement 1 is correct, and you can say that statement 2 is incorrect. So statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect, comes as option C. So here we can say the correct answer is option C. Okay, the correct answer is option C. So these were the 3 questions that we discussed, and we will discuss the upcoming questions in the next video. Thank you.